What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my workbench. Dan here as always, and in today's video we're going to be doing another exciting review on a really cool brand new product that has just come out from Rapido Trains. It is the BNSF patched Bulkhead Flatcar. This is one of many schemes that Rapido is currently offering, and these things are selling out fast. So I'm hoping that with this review today you guys can see how cool of a model this is. I'm looking forward to getting this out of the box, taking a look at it. I in particular ordered the BNSF patched version, but there are some other schemes available, and I'm really looking forward to taking a look at this. Also because this is a prototype car. I found photos of this exact one, so in this video we'll actually be able to compare the model with the prototype, and I'll show you guys anything that might be missing or anything like that as we come up with it. I have not unboxed this video prior to the video, so this will be a live unboxing, so if anything's wrong with it, you guys of course will see it along with me, and I'll do my best to point it out. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this exciting review, guys. So here it is, guys, the Rapido Trains Bulkhead Flatcar, and this one is really cool because it's a former BC rail car repatched for BNSF, so this is a good early 2000s type car. I believe it's this pretty much circa time frame that they actually patched this car out in the early days of BNSF, where everything was wild and crazy and fun. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this now. Real quick, here is the end label for the car. You can see the specific number I got here, 545724. Now I actually paid $54.95 for this car from Train World, and unfortunately as of checking this video today, a week after I purchased it, Train World does say that these are out of stock. On Rapido's website they did say these are also out of stock. I would suggest you guys check around online before these all get completely sold out. I figured correctly that this is going to be the car that was going to sell out the fastest, and I really wanted one, so I went ahead and ordered it the day these dropped, as soon as I saw the Rapido announcement online. So I'm super happy at least I got it. But I again have to advise you guys, if you are interested in this car, you need to find it now, because it's going to be another one of those where they're going to get bought up and you're not going to be able to find them again. So make sure you go out and get yours now when you can. Alright, so getting on to the unboxing. Typical Rapido freight car, these come in this plastic film, and we're going to go ahead and cut that with an X-Acto and carefully extract the model box from the plastic, and I'm just doing this off camera here real quick. So there we go. Beautiful Rapido packaging here. You can see I don't see anything floating around, so that's a good sign. Let's go ahead and unbox this car here very carefully. I will slide it out just like this, and we have a bit of documentation and paperwork that we will have to take a look at. Oh yeah, I did forget about this. Rapido often sends you stickers like this. So that's pretty cool. I've actually wanted one of these, so now I have one. It comes with the normal instructions, parts, everything like that. That's your normal kind of diagram, so it shows you how to take apart the car if you need to. Order replacement parts, for example. I've also heard Rapido is very good about customer service and customer care in the event that you do have a car that's missing parts. That's something I just figured I should mention. So, your typical kind of instruction manual in French, which is actually pretty damn cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and set that aside. Now in the box it also comes with some spare parts. You can see this comes with a set of air hoses. It comes with a set of little stirrup detail parts. I believe these are the little pins for the stake pockets. And it also comes with ACI labels, rather the ACI placards for earlier service. I don't believe this particular car has these, but it does come with a set of these, which is interesting. It actually comes with 4 of them, so I actually can possibly use these on another model, but I thought that's interesting. So I'll go ahead and set those aside. Moving on to the packaging, you can see the car is nicely protected inside the packing here. We'll just go ahead and extract it carefully here. And I have to say, this is a very long flat car, typical type of flat car here. And we'll go ahead and extract it from the plastic. And we'll go ahead and set the model's case aside so we can actually get into a proper review of the model itself. First impressions, the car is super heavy, which is a great sign. These cars need to be heavy, especially flat cars. Case in point, the exActo Bulkhead flat cars are super light. Some of the Scale Trains Bulkhead flat cars are super light. Those have issues tracking properly without any kind of weighted down load or anything. So what Rapido has done here is actually modeled the car with a metal base weight, similar to how Atlas does their flat cars. Very smart. And here it is, the review portion of the car. First impressions, I really love the detail alongside the car. The stake pockets are really nicely done. I really love the bolster pads on this model. They're superbly done. I also really like the imitation wood decking here. It is a little clean, but this is something that we can weather in a little bit. And I also should mention that on the prototype car, the deck looks like it was actually replaced. So in Rapido's credit here, they did technically model the car accurately here with a freshly replaced deck. Going into the other details, they got really nicely done underbody detail. They have nicely done stirrups. This car has the separately applied grab irons, a really nicely done walkway platform, photo etched piece there. This is a nice coupler lift bar on the end, a separately applied brake wheel, and other separately applied details on the end of the bulkhead. The bulkhead itself is superbly detailed. You have all the outlets and everything like that. You also have the detail for the air hose, which I will have to install separately later on. As you can see, it also comes equipped with the Rapido style knuckle coupler, which is nicely detailed. And on the underside of the car, it comes with a nice set of metal wheels and very nicely detailed trucks. So as I was going about this review and moving down the side of the car, I actually noticed that the bulkhead was wobbly, and on further inspection I noticed that it does seem to be loose at the base here. It looks like they glued it in place, but the glue just wasn't enough to actually hold it in place securely. So as you can see, the bulkhead is loose. This is just possibly from shipment, I'm not sure, but this is something I can easily fix. As you can see, it did just completely pop right back off. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and keep moving here. It's not a huge deal. I don't see any missing or damaged parts as a result of this, but it is honestly something that I need to note here, because as you can see, it is kind of a big deal. It just completely came undone at that point, and I barely touched it. I mean, I wobbled it back and forth. So it looks like it was glued at 1, 2, 3, 4 different points, and the glue just wasn't enough. It just let the bulkhead go. So I'll have to just kind of quickly repair this. It's unfortunate that I have to repair a model out of the box, but at least nothing's critically damaged here. I'll just be able to glue this back on, and I'll move on with the review real fast. Okay, so I'm just going to jump back in here to give you guys the update on the bulkhead. I was actually able to replace this relatively easily in about 5 minutes. What I figured I needed to do, and what I recommend you guys do if you encounter this problem with your cars, you'll need to pop this piece of photo etch off so you can properly access the base area where these two bulkhead strips go down. There's 2 little pins where these need to be aligned back in place, and it's a little bit hard to do that with this piece of photo etch in the way. So I just popped that little piece off, readjusted the bulkheads, or rather these braces on the bulkhead, back into their little pins. I pushed the bulkhead back down and then just carefully realigned the little side skirts, or rather the protrusions from the metal bulkhead meeting the flat car, and just pretty much worked those back down until everything snapped back in place. Everything's held back in together with a little bit of super glue, and you can't even see where I repaired it. So quick fix, no problems here. And then I obviously just re-glued the piece of photo etch back on with just 2 very small drops of glue. So I've taken the camera off the tripod for this underbody shot, so bear with me here if it's a little rough. But as you can see, the underdeck portion is very nicely modeled. You got all the little gusset strips modeled in nicely. The deck portion is really nicely done. Here you can see you also have the basic brake detail and all the nice piping. That's the signature of Rapido. They're very good about getting all the piping. And flat cars don't generally have a lot of underbody piping, so what is here is the vast majority of the piping that you would see on the real car. As you can see, you have all the nice piping running between the 2 air tanks and the valve there, running down the end of the car for the brakes. You can see you have the nice air hose detail modeled nicely there, some chain detail, and some other really nicely done brake rigging here running all the way down the side of the car. I really like the brake rigging running here for the handbrake. That's something that you don't see often on the flat cars, that when it's actually modeled properly. So I really do like to see that they modeled that properly. It looks fantastic. That's just a piece of molded plastic strip, but it looks fantastic with the chain detail. So now we can actually compare the real-life car with the model. And one thing I gotta say right away, I made a mistake here, guys. I thought the wood deck on this was replaced. It turns out I was looking at a different car. So I'm not sure if Rapido got that reference from a different car number and they just copied it for this one. But the deck actually is technically a little too new. But this can be fixed with weathering, but I really did need to address that because I was mistaken there. But apparently this is from a different car, so I don't know if they just either looked at a different car when they modeled the deck, or they just simply wanted to apply the new wood deck and then give you the option of modeling it as is. But if this was off the car, I'd honestly prefer this because it's going to be a little bit harder to weather this now that it's permanently glued onto the model. You could potentially lift this off, however, there's a good risk that you're going to damage the fine detailing. So that's something I needed to mention there. Okay, so if we actually compare the artwork here, and bear with me because the shot's obviously not great, first thing you're going to notice, safety striping. It's not in the same placement on this side of the car. Actually, if we take it on this side, it's the same thing. You'll notice that it doesn't line up. And I'll give them this. Safety striping is one of those things that does change often on rail cars. A lot of times they peel the old off and replace it. Sometimes they leave the old on and then put new. I would have liked to have seen this done more towards the prototype, the placement here, because it is technically inaccurate. It's what it is, but it is something I need to point out. As for the green patch artwork, on this real life side of the car, this square patch is not there on the prototype. This square patch extends too far past this little post here. Again, the safety stripe is in the wrong placement. The car data here is correct. It does match up with the prototype all the way down, except that the safety stripe placement is wrong. The green patch here next to the data should be shifted over slightly, so that's a little disappointing. And then on this end, we do have all of the correct data and information, including the BRAE decal there. And then the last bit of safety striping on the end. There's also some more car data here, but it's covered up by the safety striping. So unfortunately, the patchwork was going in the right direction, but everything's kind of in the wrong place. There's some stuff missing here, and the safety striping is in the wrong placement. Honestly, if you're an extreme prototype modeler, this is stuff you'd probably want to change, but it'd be a little bit difficult because you'd basically be ruining the artwork on the car to re-replicate this more accurately. That being said, stuff like the safety striping and things like that is stuff you could fix. It still would be a little bit of an annoyance. So it's unfortunate that they fell short there. That being said, I'm still relatively happy with the artwork that is on the car. They did at least try to replicate this accurately, and they got it relatively close. I checked the coupler height and the KD coupler height gauge, and both couplers actually matched up very well with the height gauge on my piece of test track that I have set aside. So I'm very happy with the coupler height. Now, that being said, I will be changing the couplers on this car, and you guys should know by now that I do generally like to replace the couplers on my flat cars and box cars, especially in this case for the cushion couplers and everything like that. A lot of times these flat cars use the long shank couplers, same with the TTX box car that we reviewed earlier. This is just going to be a preference thing. I'm not telling you guys that you need to replace the couplers on these. This is just something I'm going to personally do with my models, is actually upgrade the couplers to the long shanks and then do my air hose detailing afterwards. So my final thoughts on this car is that it looks fantastic. It's really, really unique. I love the patchwork on it. There are some discrepancies between the artwork, and that's honestly something that does happen, but I'm at least thankful that they got the majority of this car correct, prototypically. It's a very fantastic looking model, and if you guys can find one of these, get one. I definitely will say I will probably get some more of these myself as time goes on. I will be trying to snag one of the BNSF Mineral Red cars, and I will hopefully have those paired together hauling some pipe loads or something like that on the model railroad. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up our review for today. Thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. Speaking of Bulkhead Flat Cars, I will let you guys in on the loop. I'm currently doing a weathering video on a Skill Trains Bulkhead Flat Car. Not this exact style of car, but similar. And I'm going to be showing some techniques, some different things that we can kind of look at on that video. I'm in the process of refilming and reshooting some different segments here that I just thought could be better. I also got to do some voiceover recordings for that and of course edit the thing. So I'm hoping maybe next month I should have that up. I do have some updates also coming up on the layout layout and the model railroad, so you can stay tuned for that. I'll have some more updates on project cars and stuff like that too. In the meantime, subscribe here on YouTube for more content. Follow my work on Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook is Daniel Arnold. You guys can follow me there, and you can of course message me with any questions you have. I honestly prefer that a lot more than comments, because a lot of times I don't see you guys' comments, and that's unfortunate. On Instagram, my name is Dan E. Dankinson. It is all lowercase, and you guys can again follow me there and see what kind of projects I'm posting. So thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.